I got my boom plays, sleepers, and streamers for week 13 coming at you right now. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and hopefully at the time of recording, you're able to get some of these guys in your starting lineups. Let's start off with my boom play for week 13. It's Jayden Reed for the Packers in that slot position, going against the Dolphins where there is opportunity to poke at the holes of their weakness on defense, where you have Jayden Reed with the opportunity to see a high target share with Romeo Doubs likely trending in the wrong direction to be playing this week. Jayden Reed has opportunity to put up big fantasy points because we saw in the last 4 games that the Dolphins are struggling against players in the slot position. You look at Cooper Kupp, a solid 15 fantasy points. Guys like Demario Douglas putting up 23 fantasy points. And then you have Khalil Shakir, another slot guy, putting up a whopping 23 fantasy points. Then you have Brock Bowers, who majority of the time is lined up in the slot, putting up a monster 31 fantasy points. Jayden Reed is a boom play this week as the Packers wide receiver 1 on the table. Now let's get into some sleepers for week 13. And first up, I got Russell Wilson going against this Bengals defense where I think he'll be challenging that secondary a ton this game. And also this could be a 2-for-1 where George Pickens should have a big game. So I should have added him to the boom list as well, where I think Russell Wilson has been aggressive since starting of making big plays downfield. Russell Wilson's actually leading the league in completions of 20 plus yards per game, people. So since he's been a starter, he's been aggressive of going downfield, completing these deep shots and making the big plays. This just shows that the Pittsburgh Steelers have some juice on offense when they have Russell Wilson making these big plays downfield. You have guys like Cam Britt Taylor on that defense that you can pick on and bully because he's allowed the most touchdowns this season with 9 among DBs. So a big game on the horizon for Russell Wilson and George Pickens. Another sleeper, man, people keep overlooking Jerry Jeudy in a revenge game against the Denver Broncos, who absolutely quit on him. So I'm sure he's trying to go out there to make a point that he is the guy in a wide receiver 1 role. You have Jameis Winston, who remains aggressive and does not care about this Denver Broncos defense, where Patrick Surtain, I think he spends most of his time with Cedric Tillman. I wouldn't be surprised if they take him off of Tillman and get on Jerry Jeudy as well, being that he is a great separator and they're going to need some reinforcements to contain Jerry Jeudy, and this aggressive pass offense with Jameis Winston going to be taking those shots downfield. Jerry Jeudy has been averaging over 90 receiving yards per game in his last couple games since Winston's been the starter, and Jameis Winston's actually supporting 4 passing options where you have 4 guys on this offense averaging double-digit fantasy points. So I like my odds with Jameis Winston without a care with his YOLO balls for Jerry Jeudy have a great game against a tough Denver Broncos defense. Now let's get into some streamers for week 3. Look, for Thursday night, man, you got to have the Washington Commanders DST in starting lineups with the upside of getting some pass rush on this Cowboys O-line, getting after Cooper Rush, and getting the sack production. The Commanders are actually right outside the top 10 when it comes to sacks this season, so I'm banking on the upside for them to get a ton of pressure, to create some turnovers, and put some points on the board. If this is a week that you're just asked out of a DST, you want to go pick up the Commanders if they're out there for you, this could be a great streamer option this week just to have a defense in there to maintain the points and come away with some upside with the sack production and takeaways. Another streamer this week that caught my eye is David Moore going against the Bucs. This is a Carolina Panthers wide receiver that's been in the league for some time now, and I think as long as Jalen Coker is on the sideline at the time of recording, we don't have an update, but David Moore had 10 targets last week with Bryce Young. No other Panther with Bryce Young as a starter has even generated 10 targets in the game, so therefore last week that was eye-opener that he could show up and show out and be a reliable target for Bryce Young, who's been playing better football since he's back in the starting seat. So I like my chances this week where the Bucs, they're allowing some production to the wide receiver position to where I think this could be a great start this week if you're trying to stream some wide receivers just to get some points with a safe floor. Like I said, David Moore, he's out there on the waiver wire, still highly available to you. So if you need a wide receiver in that flex or the wide receiver 3 spot, go ahead and take your shot, man. We're stacking the wins to the playoffs. So this wraps up another great episode of RotoBaller Fantasy Sports YouTube channel. Please make sure you guys like and subscribe. Leave your comments below on your start and sit questions. I'll try to answer them all the way up until game time after I eat my meal for Thanksgiving. So hopefully you guys have a safe holiday, and make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and follow me at Real Deal Fantasy on all social media platforms. Until next time.